Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and what I'm doing today is I want to show off what we got in the ship shape video, showing off the new Constellation. And it's been getting a rework, and I think we've known that it's been coming. So we get the Mark IV as compared to the previous Mark III that we have in our hangars today. So one of the first things you're going to actually do and see in this video is that we've got this new bulkhead within the Constellation. And this comes with a huge benefit of not having to depressurize the entire cockpit area of your ship anytime somebody wants to board or leave. Maybe something gets blown to shit in the back of your ship. All of a sudden the entire thing's not going to depressurize and you're not going to be quite as panicked as you normally would be. Outside of that, the amount of details that they've done are just huge. You know, there's more lights, there's more tiny details. You know, you get the little things that really help with immersion. And one thing that was really cool was they actually were able to cut the polygon total in half on this ship, but it looks twice as good. And that's huge for optimization once we get, further along in game and we're trying to render, a couple hundred ships. Now, other changes that you're going to see in here outside of just like colors and all that sort of stuff is just finer details like with the seats. Another really important one you're going to see in just a minute, and I say it's really important, and I think it's just from a gameplay perspective, is actually right there with the turrets, the top and bottom turrets. One of the biggest issues in the current iteration of the Constellation is it's hard to access that turret area with the captain's chair right behind it. Having this new design where you access it from the back side not only makes more sense when you consider maybe crew members running from the beds out to get into fighter position. They have access from the appropriate side. But in addition, it's just not as clustered. Well, it's not as cramped, and you can easily just get in and get on with your business. Now, as we move around, there's other things that you're going to see, like you'll start seeing little panels and stuff, and it's really going to be a kind of an indicator of where we're going to have more avionics and other details that are popping in. And as we move further back in the ship, after we do the the kind of crew quarters area, you're going to start to see some of those in place. Now, here is the living quarters. They kind of call this the neck of the ship, and this is what I think got the most significant change, I think. And there's a lot of things to point out here. For example, you'll notice that there's a little table that actually folds out from the floor, meaning that you no longer have that thing kind of hanging like this weird orb from the ceiling. You also get the bed area, which we'll turn around and see in a minute, shower, toilet, all that kind of stuff. But there's more important things than that. The space is better utilized. The beds are now actually taking that new focus that CIG's really placed on, the ejection systems to be able to get out of the ship if you have to. There's charges. The doors fold down and you blow out. Another really good change is right there on the floor. You can see it says Airlock. That's the new way to get in on the ship. And you'll notice it's a big rectangle. It's no longer just a little circle. And what that means is you're not going one by one by one by one to get on and off of this ship. Everybody that's crewed on this ship can actually fit on this airlock and get in and out together. So outside of the fact it's less intrusive, you don't have those bars popping up, it makes a lot more sense from a gameplay decision. Off to the right there, you can see all those skinny little rectangles. Those are actually lockers for putting stuff in there. And I think I cut it off on this video, but over by the beds, you're actually going to have weapons racks. And it was a very conscious decision to put the weapon racks in this neck, the crew area, not only because it's towards the middle of the ship, but if you've got guys that are sleeping and you need to get to action real quick, you've got your arms right there easy to get to. It just makes a lot of sense. Now, another area that's had a real big impact and a big change is here in the rear area. And you can immediately see it's darker, but it's also a lot sleeker. The colors seem just right, and you're going to just notice there's not a whole lot of structural change. The cargo area is still the same, but what you get is a better atmosphere, and you actually start noticing things like these boxes that are kind of hanging from the ceilings. And what's inside those boxes? Missiles, because this is one of the new ways the missiles on the Constellation is going to work, because the missile boom arms are only so effective. This is actually going to be popping out of the top of the Constellation. They kind of just rotate up and launch out that way. So in addition to the boom arms, you've got this missile replenishing system built in right there. And speaking of those plates that I was talking about, the access panels for the different parts of the ship, shields, avionics, maybe engine control, life support, We had these old panels in the bottom right. Now we get these new labeled panels. And while there's nothing that's actually working effectively in them right now, that's where it's going to be when we actually get further along in development. Now, I'm about to jump off of this thing so you can see these up close, but everything got reworked. And they've been doing this for months and months and months and months, and I think they're in their 8th month now of actually reworking this ship. Don't take that as bad news, though, because they've learned a lot from this, and they've said they're going to be able to move quicker. But even things like these fans have made a change, and these are the kind of covers. And the way they pop up, and he said there's going to be a lot of detail, and while you can't actually see that right now, it's a really good indicator of what we're going to see. In the upper left-hand corner, you've got the ejection pod, or the escape pod. There we go. It's actually your bed. And one is going to shoot out the top, one is going to shoot out the bottom, and that's going to happen on each side. They also have thrusters that are equipped on them, so you're not just totally boned. And there's a lot of fine little details. Like one of the things they show is that little box right there. That's actually a little detonator charge to help you blow out of there and make it a really unique experience. Now, there is so much that they've done with this ship. They've added in the weapons, so you can actually see the pilot-controlled weaponry back on the nacelles. Things like the docking hatches like that. Big impact. Not just a big glass door anymore. It's actually going to be this, cover. It's more industrial. It looks stronger. It's probably the way it always should have been. The nacelles got a huge rework, and they look just beautiful, whether it's the shape of them. They took those little orb things off of them. They're sleek. They look sharp. They've got some Star Trek influences, and they are just really, really well done. And I think one of the things that I'm more pleased about on this ship is actually the way they redid the Merlin on the back. The integration with the ship, it just sits in there a lot better. The detail looks a lot better. It doesn't have the old color scheme on it. And when you actually see the way you access this from the ship, it just seems to make a whole lot more sense from start to finish. And you can almost envision docking this thing on the back, kind of in this crazy little maneuver to make your escape from a system. So this video is actually about 20 minutes long. I just cropped it down because I wanted to give you guys a teaser. So take a look in the description if you want to see the whole thing, because I highly suggest it. Otherwise, stay tuned for more content. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and take care.